in the entire world. A tie is stupid. Ties are the worst thing in NFL football, period. Nobody shows up on Sunday to spend 3.5 hours just to walk away with a giant bag of nothing. A tie is the most unsatisfactory ending of all sports. It's not a win. It's not a loss. It's just a wasted day where both fan bases get to argue of who really should have won. The players bust their bodies for 60 minutes and then even more in the overtime period. And for what? To get stuck with a number in this stadium that doesn't even feel real. This is football. The most physical, grueling, high-stakes sports in the world, and the NFL thinks it's acceptable to have games where nobody wins? College football has figured this out years ago. High school football has figured this out years ago. Basketball has figured this out. Hockey has figured this out. Soccer, why can't the NFL? The NFL stuck in these stone chains like letting ties exist since 1925. It's absolutely stupid. And on top of that, ties ruin playoff races. Suddenly you're looking at standings in December and you have to do this mental gymnastics. Well, they're 9-6-1, so technically they're ahead of the 10-7. Like, what does that really even mean? It's cheap, it's confusing, and it waters down the entire season. Guys, the bottom line, ties are pathetic. Extend the overtime period, bring in the college format, do something creative. Anything is better than letting the greatest league in the world end in a tie. A tie is stupid. Guess that's it. Fans deserve winners. Players deserve winners. Ties, they suck, period. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Yeah, hey, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw. Steady bringing that sauce. We about to take off. Get it hype, this man, our sport talk. Yeah. From the quarterback to the lineman, everybody bringing heat. You don't really want to try them. Hey, who gon' win? It's a battle of the giants. This show is the flyest. Nobody can deny it. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception?
Let's go. What is up, Man Hour Nation? Guys, welcome to Man Hour NFL Talk, your go-to spot for live, raw, uncut NFL talk. And I'm so glad you are rolling us with us today. But before we get into today's show, guys, I want you to head over to Elite Concrete Foundation over there on the Facebook page. The link is in the description below, guys. Click on them. Tell them that Man Hour sent you for all of your concrete needs, from flooring in your barn to sidewalks to even commercial products, guys. Elite Concrete is the place to do it. Tell them that Buck sent you. Save yourself some dollar bills, y'all. But guys, make sure you hit the like button, hit the share button, and of course you subscribe because you never miss a live interactive show. That's the easiest way to stay plugged into us. But if you want the full Man Hour experience, if you want free entry into our weekly NFL pick'ems, if you want exclusive merchandise, if you want the afternoon drive, if you want the next level access to behind the scenes footage, guys, become a Pigskin Pundit. That is our members only community. Guys, join the squad, but join the squad today. If you are on YouTube, hit the subscribe button or the membership button. If you're on Facebook, hit the subscribe button. Bada bing, bada boom. $4.99 a month, guys. You get entry into all of that. But guys, before we get to today's show, guys, this is a live interactive show. Drop your thoughts and your hottest other talks and takes in the comments down below. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. You. Old Man River says, what is up? What is up? What is up? And congratulations to this week's pick'ems. Yes, on the afternoon show today, we did the Week 4 NFL pick'ems, the results show, because so on the pick'ems, guys, we just do Sundays just to make it a little bit easier. That way, we're not cutting it off on Thursday, and then no, it's Sunday. Sunday games are it, right? And bada bing, bada boom, we did have the winner. The winners have been emailed out. First place was Rego, right? Is that what you guys like? Like Rego was first place. My man Carson Lang was second place. And then, of course, James Frank was third place. So big shout out to those guys. Shout out to those guys. Got my man Alpha Rob in the chat today. He says ties are as stupid as the commander's name. Ooh, slow it down, baby. The Commanders' name is starting to grow on me, Alpha Rob, and it should be starting to grow on you as well because the Commanders will win another Super Bowl before the Buffalo Bills do. I said it. My man, Mellow Mike has come out of hiding. No, guys, cancel the Amber Alert. Mellow Mike has been found. He is no longer hiding, and he says, yes, I know, Buck. I know. The Texans are bad, but we're a banged up team who can't get out of their own way. We're looking for consistency and trying to stack wins behind the 8-ball quarter of a way in. Mellow Mike. We are going to go deep into the Houston Texans issues tomorrow. I was going to wait. I was going to, make sure my ducks were in a line with the Houston Texans. But I told you so. I told you, Mellow Mike, back in June. I told you this back in July. Hell, I told you this again back in August, that the Texans were overrated. I told you that the Texans were overachieving the last 2 seasons. I told you that the Houston Texans were not the team that you thought they were. And guess what? Here we are, sitting at 1-3, quarter of the way through the season, and your lone win, you're going to bank it on the Houston Texans. Or sorry, the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans, we beat the Titans. Just slow it down, baby. I believe Cam Ward said it best if you are a Titans fans. I'm going to keep it a buck. I'm going to keep it 100. We ass, baby. Yes, the Titans are ass. The Texans are ass, and the Colts are going to run through that division. Let's just call a spade a spade a spade. And he said, wait. This ain't the man show. I was waiting to see Crank Yankers after. This is the man show. This is better than, listen, I can go out and marry Roseanne and then let her cancel herself. This is better than the man show. Although the man show was pretty good. Bouncy boobies, right? Bouncy boobies. Mellow Mike says, old man has to be up at 4:30 in the morning. Got to get my beauty sleep. Your Chiefs still washing out the stanky, Buck boy. Mellow Mike, we're going to be talking about the Kansas City Chiefs. We are going to be talking about the Kansas City Chiefs because if you look, let me go ahead and go over here to this main shot here and look at that. What is that topic number 4 there, Mellow Mike? Matter of fact, let me give you a little preview. The NFL's woke up the Kansas City Chiefs, baby. They coming, they back, they Super Bowl bound, baby. That is what we're going to be talking about, Mellow Mike. So I understand you got to get up 4:30. I get up at 5 o'clock every day. I feel your pain, brother. I feel your pain, but you know what? Sometimes you got to sit on the internet. You got to put your earbuds in. You got to get you on your cellular device and talk that shit. Where's the trampolines and the beer? The trampoline and the beers are both outside. Come on over, man. We're going to have a party. But, guys, buckle up because we got a great story for you guys lined up today. And we're going to start there right off at the top. And we are going to talk about those Baltimore Ravens. We are going to talk about those Baltimore Ravens that were supposed to be the top 10 in the power rankings. And I got dogged for not having them in their week 1, not in their week 2, not week 3. And hell, we're going to show you week 4. We blow up their butt. I'm sure you guys are. So, was that before or after you all got blown out by the Kansas City Chiefs? But slow it down, baby. Let's back it up, guys. Let's ask the question, guys. What is wrong with the Baltimore Ravens? Guys, let's dive into it. Because when you look at the Baltimore Ravens, guys, right now they're in unfamiliar and frankly uncomfortable territory. After Sunday's 37-20 blowout loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, they now sit at 1-3 for the first time since 2015. Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh has built a reputation as potential contenders year after year after year. But right now, this doesn't look like the Ravens team that we are used to seeing. Through the first 4 games, guys, the Baltimore Ravens have given up 133 points. Let me rephrase that for you. They have given up 133 points. That is the most allowed in any 4-game span during Harbaugh's 18 years as head coach. That's just not bad. That is historically bad in Baltimore Ravens terms. Now, I understand the injuries have, quote, melted this defense. The biggest story is the defensive injuries, right? In 2024, guys, the Ravens were the healthiest team in football. Practically no one missed time on the Baltimore Ravens in 2024. But guess what? 2025, it is the exact opposite. On Sunday, they finished the game without 6 defensive starters. Roquan Smith, Humphreys, Nate Wiggins, Kyle Van Voy, and then Travis Jones, right? That's 4 Pro Bowlers on the shelf, on the sideline. That has forced Baltimore to throw in rookies like Sharks, Buchanan into starting roles, giving them major snaps to journeymen like Brent Urban and John Jenkins. Even CJ Oki, straight out of the International Pathway program, saw 23 points in his debut. Guys, against Patrick Mahomes, that's a recipe for disaster. Let's just be honest. And it has showed. The Ravens ranked 30th in EPA per play allowed and then 27th against the pass as well. Opposing offenses are scoring touchdowns at a 75% rate when they go into the red zone. Last year, that number was under 50%, best in the league. This isn't a bend, don't break defense anymore. It's a bend and then break it wide open type of defense because they suck right now. Now, when you look at the offense, on paper, the Baltimore offense looks just fine, right? They scored 131 points for the first 4 games of the season. Second most ever for a losing team in that span. They're averaging over 6 yards per carry, leading the NFL in explosive runs. That is huge. But here's the issue. It's boom or bust. That is what the Ravens have been all season long. Boom or bust. Derrick Henry has 3 fumbles already this season. Outside of a few big runs per game, he is getting stuffed. They're getting stuffed. Success rate on rushing attempts, 28th in the league. Your King Henry is getting shut down. Your King Henry is getting blasted. 28th in the league at success rate rush per attempt. That is terrible. That is forcing Lamar Jackson into many 3rd and long type of situations. On average, the Baltimore Ravens face 3rd and 8, one of the longest distances in the NFL. Matter of fact, it's ranked 29th in the NFL. Jackson has been sacked already 15 times this season, the worst sack rate of the league at 12.6%. Compared that to last season when he only took 23 sacks all season long. And it goes beyond the sacks. The offense is struggling in the red zone, converting at just a 54% rate into touchdowns, way down from the league best last season at 74%. That is a massive drop-off. So, guys, we got to ask the question, where do the Baltimore Ravens go from here? Yes, the schedule does finally lighten up a little bit. They got the Texans next week, one of the worst teams in the NFL, Mellow Mike. Now, with that being said, when you look at the AFC North, guys, it is still wide open. The Pittsburgh Steelers are now 3-1, but they are flawed. The Bengals are without Joe Burrow right now, losing to the Broncos, the last I knew, on the Monday Night Football. And the Browns are scrappy, but you know what? They're not elite. The Ravens' issues are real, but they're not fatal. If they can get healthy, Harbaugh insists none of these injuries are season injury, but durability is no longer on their side. Guys, history tells us not to count the Ravens out. Remember 2012 when they went 10-6, but they got hot late and won the Super Bowl? But this group, we need to slow it down, baby. They've got to cut down the turnovers, get consistency in the running game, and pray that their defense heals up. So, guys, here's the big question for the day. Are the Baltimore Ravens still contenders in 2025, or is this just a lost season waiting to happen? Guys, comment down below with your thoughts. I want to hear from you, Ravens fans especially, but the rest of the NFL landscape, let us know. Are the Ravens contenders still in 2025? No, they're not. But guys, as always, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button. Remember, we're live Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. East Coast time right here at youtube.com. Now, this is a live interactive show, so shut down the chat and let your voice be heard. Old Man River said, made Lamar look sad for that sure Honolulu Blue flu. So if you guys do not know what the blue flu is, last season, or actually may have been the last 2 seasons now, Old Man River, correct me if I'm wrong, every time a team played the Detroit Lions, win, lose, or draw, they would lose the following game. And as you guys know, the Baltimore Ravens played the Detroit Lions last week. Is the blue flu the real deal? I think that has been busted. But we'll see. Mellow Mike says Ravens next up for Texans, and Lamar has a hammy. Mellow Mike, keep that energy because we're getting ready to dive deep into Lamar Jackson, right? Alpha Rob says Jackson is wrong. He can't figure out Spags' defense. And Alpha Rob, you are 100% correct. Because matter of fact, I while listening to the broadcast on Sunday, I don't know who the commentators were. Was it Tony Romo? I don't know. May have been Tom. Whoever the commentator was says that Lamar Jackson was 1-5, now 1-6 versus the Kansas City Chiefs. He has never lost more than 3 games versus any other team in the NFL. Spags' defense definitely has Lamar Jackson figured out. Now, every time the Kansas City Chiefs, my Kansas City Chiefs, play Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, I'm still always on the edge of my feet. I never feel comfortable, right? Never feel comfortable. Lamar Jackson is a very dynamic type of quarterback, very type of athlete. So as Spags does have him, quote, figured out, one busted play here or there, it could definitely turn the whole thing. Mellow Mike says Texas defense has allowed 55 points through 4 games. Ravens offense 8 hitting 30 on Sunday, baby. Slow it down. Slow it down because we will be talking about the Ravens and Texans on our preview show on Saturday. Mellow Mike's will be 2 to turn in Saturday at 9 p.m. East Coast time. I'm assuming you're down there in Texas, so 8 p.m. your time. Saturday, tune in because we're going to talk that shit, baby. Alpha Rob says, I don't care about these injuries. Every team has injuries. Just ask the 49ers. And that is very, very true, Alpha Rob. You hit the nail on the head. These teams that are losing, the Ravens, the Texans, the Raiders, the Saints, the list goes on and on and on. Injuries. Oh, we're hurt. Oh, we're getting healthy. Oh, we're hurt. But what about the Detroit Lions last year? They had 27 guys on defense alone be on IR. Now, granted, they were 1-0 like I told you they would be. I told you the injuries were going to eventually catch up to them. But they didn't use that excuse. Next man up mentality. Ravens need to use that. Texans need to use that. Green Bay Packers, we're getting ready to dog you guys here very, very soon. Look at topic number 5 there. Packers missing the playoffs? Playoffs? We're talking about playoffs. Yeah, we're talking about playoffs, baby. Stop using the injury as a crutch. Next man up, and oh, by the way, next man up. Figure yourselves out, and then we can talk some shit. But old man River says, what's up next for the Baltimore Ravens? He says that they're going to scratch that 14-3 mark. Old man River says the Ravens are not going to lose another game for the rest of the season. Mellow Mike, old man River, you guys are clearly old heads, right? You guys are old heads. My chair's falling down. I got to fix that. Hit the like button so I can buy a new chair. The hydraulic thing's broken. Or go to Elite Concrete over there on Facebook. Check it out. Get your concrete needs taken care of. The Baltimore Ravens are not going to go undefeated for the rest of the year, old man River. They will lose several games this season. Now, one thing I was kind of hard on about the Baltimore Ravens this season is this. I said they were going to be a 9 to 10 win team this season because of their schedule. Because when you look at their schedule, yes, they got the Texans coming up at home, right? And then they play the LA Rams at home. Going to be a very, very tough game. But then you got teams like the Packers coming up, teams like the Steelers and the Bengals, all divisional games. Matter of fact, they play, 1, 2, 3, 4 divisional games in 5 weeks. They got a tough schedule. The Chiefs, many people thought the Texans were going to be good. This could be an off week. Still can't overlook them. The Texans want to get that win. But as the schedule does get easier, I do not see them rolling through the Rams. I don't see them rolling through the Steelers twice. I don't see them rolling through the Bengals twice. I don't see them rolling through the Packers twice. Like, come on. Their schedule does get easier. Play the Bears. Play the Dolphins. The Vikings, trash. The Jets. Patriots. Patriots are not too bad. But winning 13 games in a row? And then expect to make a Super Bowl push? Somebody put this old man River to bed because he is talking crazy right now. Crazy. What a coin toss as an overtime? Are we talking about? What's about this coin toss? Mellow Mike said the Chiefs are 2-2, not much better than my 1-4 Texans. Welcome to the suck, Buck. Listen, we're going to be talking about the Kansas City Chiefs. Keep that energy, baby. Keep that energy. But these trap games, though. What about these trap games, though? Texans is... are you referring to the Texans and Ravens, a trap game for the Ravens, or is it a trap game for the Texans? Because they're both one-win teams. You can't really afford to be overlooking anybody when the type of situation that you're in with the Baltimore Ravens or the Houston Texans. Or the New Orleans Saints. Trash, by the way. What up, Wes? But what are these trap games, right? Mellow Mike says the Lions had a decade of top 10 first-round picks that built their depth. Other teams basically won the 2000s. Not wrong. It was a score for the Bengals game. Oh, 14-3. Oh, my bad. My bad. Old man Rivers tried to tell me the score of the Baltimore or Broncos Bengals game is 14-3. Not that the Ravens will go 14-3. But they're still not going to go 14-3 because they have an injury problem with Lamar Jackson. Or do they have an injury problem with Lamar Jackson? Guys, let's get right into this because midway through the third quarter against my Kansas City Chiefs, Lamar Jackson goes down with a hamstring injury. We all saw it. The hit, not so bad. He actually got up, jogged off the field with little to no limp that I noticed. Did you guys notice a limp? Because I sure the hell did not see a limp. Didn't look like a guy who couldn't move. Didn't look like a guy who was getting ready to come out the very next season or the very next series. And then what happened? He never came back in. Spent the rest of the game on the sideline with a towel wrapped around his hamstring. Ice towel, heat towel. It was some type of towel. Didn't look very concerning, right? So the question that I want to ask you guys this right now. Did Lamar Jackson quit on his team? Because let's look at the facts. At the time when Lamar Jackson left the game, the Baltimore Ravens guys were still technically in the game. Yes, they were down, but it wasn't over. One big play, one big score from Lamar Jackson or the Baltimore Ravens, it could flip that whole entire game. Yes, it was a 2-score game. Had plenty of time left on the clock. And this just isn't any quarterback. Yes, I dog Lamar Jackson, but at the end of the day, he's a very elite athlete on the field. He's a 2-time MVP, the franchise player, and a guy who's making $42 million this season. If anybody is expected to fight through and give their team a chance, it is him. Now, I get it. Hamstrings can be tricky. You don't want to risk long-term damage, but let's be real here. You are at 1-3 right now on the season. Your season is literally teetering one way or the other. If you go 1-4, 1-3, chance of you making the playoffs is very, very unreal. He jogged off the field. There was no limp, no collapse, no medical cart. We've seen Lamar Jackson play through worse. Instead of strapping up his helmet back on, he wrapped up and shut it down. But guys, put yourself in the Ravens locker room right now. Justin Hill ripped off a 71-yard run in garbage time, fighting to keep the team from being embarrassed. Veterans like Roquan Smith and Humphreys played through injuries as well. Yes, they did get shut down toward the end, but they're playing through their injuries. Guys are battling, and the face of the franchise, he's standing on the sidelines, actually sitting on the sidelines, healthy enough to jog off the field, but not willing to go back in and fight. That doesn't scream That doesn't send a message to the fans, to the players, to his coaches. It seems like I don't want to play because I'm tired of getting embarrassed. So guys, let's not sugarcoat this whatsoever. I think 100% Lamar Jackson quit on his team. The optics told the story. He could have gone back in. He chose not to. And when your team is battling the runner-up of the Super Bowl, is arguably one of the top teams in the AFC, that's not leadership. That's simply quitting. It's quitting. But what do you guys think? Do you think Lamar Jackson put himself above his team, or do you believe it was really the right call shutting it down? Comment down below. I want to hear your raw takes on this one. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Remember, we're live Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. East Coast time right here, youtube.com/ManOut. Now, this is a live interactive show, so jump in and comment and let your voice be heard. Now, let's get into the comments and discuss your thoughts. Alpha Rob says it's very, very simple, Buck. He was getting embarrassed and did not want to play anymore. Alpha Rob, you nailed it on the head. When I posted on our Facebook page, on our Twitter, or on our X, that Lamar Jackson is injured and will not be coming back in, and I put air quotes, quotation marks around injured, because I did not see him, like, when you injure a hamstring, you instantly go and, like, kind of reach for it, right? When you get hurt, you reach for something. Like, you reach for your shoulder, you reach for your hamstring, you reach for your head. Like, that's just your natural reaction. I didn't see nothing from Lamar Jackson when he on that last play. Now, I guess we could roll back 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plays prior to see if something happened. But that last play, he's like, finally just like, no, I'm done. You didn't see any limp. You didn't see reach for anything. And truth be told, Alpha Rob, I think you're right. I just think he was tired of getting embarrassed. When you're now 1-3, you've already been sacked 15 times so far this season. And the whole last season, you got sacked 23 times. It's embarrassing. It sucks. And I don't know if Lamar Jackson is really that raw leadership type of guy, because we've seen him shut down in big times anyways. Look at the playoffs. But Old Man River says, no, he did not quit on his team. He did not quit on his team. Old Man River, you are an old head. You've seen the 50s. You've seen the 60s. You've seen a little bit of the 70s. You remember none of the 80s. But why do you think he would not quit on his team? What history shows you, or either way, that shows you that he does not quit on his team? Because if you remember a couple years ago, was it 2018, 2019 maybe? I'm not for sure. He hurt his ankle. They said, oh, he'll be out for about 3 weeks, right? Ravens were well out of the playoff race. Insert Snoop Huntley, right? Snoop Huntley started to come out and ball out. But Lamar Jackson could have come back and led that team to the playoffs. But he's like, no, I'm good. I'm good. Just saying. And Alpha Rob says, most guys who hurt their hammies always touch it walking off the field. Exactly. Anytime you get hurt, you will reach for said injured location. Arm, shoulder, hamstrings, ankles, whatever, right? That's just your natural instinct. And Mike says Lamar should call his mama for some of his contract money to wipe those tears. As you guys know, Lamar Jackson's mom is his agent, if I'm not mistaken, or at least some type of financial advisor type of person. Much like my wife, she gives a little bit of allowance every week. You gotta do what you gotta do. Alpha Rob says, in Jackson's case, he isn't the real MVP. Josh Allen knew he wouldn't come back. So Alpha Rob is saying, hey, Lamar Jackson should have never won those MVPs. Josh Allen is him, baby. Not wrong. Old Man River says the Ravens are the one that pulled out Lamar Jackson. They are protecting their investment. He says it's a business at the end of the day. As it is a business at the end of the day, you want your investment to do well, meaning that $200 million contract or whatever he has, something ridiculous, right? But at the same time, Old Man River, when your business is successful, aka winning football games, when your business is going deep into January, aka winning playoff games, when your business is all built around one guy, guys, let's just be honest. This week 4 game made the Kansas City Chiefs. This week 4 game probably broke the Baltimore Ravens. They needed him in there to go get a chance to win the game. Now, I'm not saying they would have won the game. The Kansas City Chiefs defense was playing very, very well. The offense was playing even better. But you get a little bit of spark to end the game. Just a little bit of momentum. You know, maybe Lamar Jackson's in there and helps him score that touchdown to give them the 20 points. Maybe maybe he scampers in and maybe makes it 27-37. Just gets it closer, right? That little bit of spark could have carried a lot over into Houston Texans and then into the easier part of their schedule. But, you know, they're like, no. Mellow Mike says, did it teach mental toughness at Louisville? Lamar is soft as Bucks plush Mahomes doll he sleeps with. First of all, it is a Chris Jones plush doll. We call him Mr. Plushy. And no, they do not teach you mental toughness in college. Because when you get a little bit hard on, I'm going to go transfer. It is what it is. Well, Will Olsen says, I want the Chiefs to lose to the Lions in week 6. I like the Chiefs when they're the underdogs and not the dominant favorites. Well, I agree with you. We'll be talking about the Kansas City Chiefs here in a couple segments here, so stay tuned for that. Mellow Mike says, Lamar ain't stood on business once in his career. He did, however, set out for that business. Yeah. He did hold out, or was it a hold in or a hold out? I can't remember. Either way, he said, I'm not playing until I get paid, baby. Guess what? Ravens tried to hold out. They tried to. By golly, they tried to, but you know what? It never worked out in the end. Never worked out. But guys, you know what is working out right now? You know what is working out? It is about to get back on track, and that is the America's team. That is the one and only the Dallas Cowboys, baby. Now, after a frustrating finish, a tie versus the Green Bay Packers, guys, there is one simple question that we have to ask right now. Are the Dallas Cowboys back? Are they the top dogs in the NFC, or just the same old story in a new season? Now, look, I get it. The Dallas Cowboys got beat down by the Chicago Bears. I get it. They lost to the Philadelphia Eagles week 1. I get it. I understand that they went to overtime to beat the New York Football Giants in week 2. I get it. I understand they went into overtime again to tie with the Green Bay Packers. I get it. But 1-2-1, guys, this is the best offense in the NFL. This is the highest rated offense in the NFL. Points, yardage, rushing yards, passing yards, you name it, the Dallas Cowboys lead it on the offensive category side. However, here is the reality. Here is the reality that nobody in Dallas wants to hear right now. This is the reason for hope, right? Now, I get it. This defense has been beaten up for 3 straight games. The defense is terrible. Matter of fact, they're ranked dead last in all defensive stat categories. They lost the opener to Philly by 4 points, and they tied the Green Bay Packers. Let's just be honest, they should have won that game. This defense is capable. Again, they couldn't hold the lead at the end of regulations and couldn't close it out in overtime. The penalties and mistakes are killing them. Sam Williams face mask, and then the unnecessary roughness call. This extends drives and it makes them embarrassed. And then missed tackles. Let's not talk about the missed tackles. And that and then add that to the pile that they're giving up a big play after big play after big play. This defense is not very good. Now, this is not the shutdown defense that Dallas thought they had. Let's just be honest. But there is a silver lining. It's a big but there is some light at the end of the tunnel. Look at their schedule moving forward. They play the Jets, trash. They play the Panthers, trash. Those are all very winnable games. And if the Dallas Cowboys can find just a little bit of consistency and they can stack up some wins and get back on track, they will be the top dogs. Now, let's not forget about how great Dak Prescott is. Guys, Dak Prescott is a top 5 quarterback for a reason. Statistically, he had bigger games, but context matters. This was the best game he has played in a very, very long time. No CeeDee Lamb out with the high ankle sprain. No Tyler Booker at guard, went out earlier in the game. No Cooper Beebe at center, out for a foreseeable future. And now he was facing one of the best defenses in the NFL, one of the top dogs of the NFL, the Green Bay Packers, and they go toe-to-toe. What does he do? 3 touchdowns. He runs for another one. His first of the year, I might add, the 30th of his career. He completes over 70% of his passes for the second straight game, and he delivers a 28-yard to George Pickens with 43 seconds left in regulation to keep the Dallas Cowboys alive. Dak Prescott did everything he could. That's not the problem. It's not Dak Prescott. It's the defense. So, guys, the question is simple. Are the Cowboys top dogs in the NFC? Are the Dallas Cowboys back? Are the Dallas Cowboys going to reign supreme over the Eagles, Commanders, the Giants, the Lions, the 49ers, Rams? Name it. They're better than them? Yeah, not quite yet. We all need to slow it down, baby. Not with this defense. This defense is trash. Not when you cannot close out games. Not when you cannot sack the quarterback. Not when you cannot stop a simple dive play. Dak showed he can elevate this team. Dak showed that he's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Dak showed that he might be the league MVP this season. But until this defense plays up to his potential and stop making dumbass mistakes, guys, Dallas Cowboys is just another what-if team. They're not the NFC top dogs. They're not the NFC East favorites. Hell, right now they're sitting at 3rd place at best in the NFC. But what do you guys think? Is this sign that the Cowboys are turning the corner, putting up 40 against a great team in the Green Bay Packers? Or are they still pretenders in the NFC? Guys, comment down below. I want to hear your takes, especially from you, Cowboys Nation. I guess we can put Houston, Texas Nation in there anyway. But what do you guys think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Old Man River says, let me be very, very clear about this. Buck, let me go ahead and get my megaphone and say, oh, hell no. They suck. They now more than last year. They're just terrible, Buck. They're never going to win. Screaming from the top of the world. Slow it down, baby. But he says they suck. They suck. Yeah. Mellow Mike says, first of all, let me pick myself up off the floor from laughing so much. I dropped my phone into the toilet because I was laughing so hard. He says, the Cowboys? Good? Contenders? Top dogs in the NFC? The Cowboys? Mellow Mike says, Buck, Jerry spends more money on facelift than he does on this roster. There is another side of the ball. It's called defense. Scoring points ain't everything. You got to make them stops. You do got to make them stops. But you know what? The offense is them boys. And to be fair, Micah Parsons on this defense does not make them any better. I just want to point that out, plain as day. Micah Parsons does not make this team any better. Alfred says the Dallas defense is bad. They can't cover or have a pass rush. Hey, they added Jadeveon Clowney. You know, the man that got. Understand that Jadeveon Clowney is going to be the man to make the legends. So slow down. But yeah, their defense is pretty bad. Now, obviously, giving up 40 points to the Packers it's no shame in the game, right? The Packers obviously have a pretty good offense. Giving up, was it 37 to the Giants? That's tough. Giving up 40 to the Eagles are pretty good. So in their defense, if we want to play the devil's advocate, they have played some of the top teams of the NFL, meaning the Eagles, meaning the Packers. And if you talk to any Chicago Bears fan, the Super Bowl bound Chicago Bears. But yeah, their defense definitely needs to figure themselves out. Definitely needs to figure themselves out. Will also says, I like to see their defense play hard and physical like somewhat did last night. I know they had a few penalties, but it still needs to be physical like this. Will, you are correct to an extent. Playing to the whistle and a little beyond the whistle, I like that. I enjoyed it. It shows aggression. It shows that you're going 115%. However, I believe you are referring to that personal foul that the linebacker had. The Packers guy, Jordan Love, threw it at the Packers. Was it Josh Jacobs' feet? It wasn't Josh Jacobs. I don't know. It was the backup tailback. I don't know his name. Guys, help me in the chat. What is his his name? Jordan Love threw it at his feet. The ball bounced out. The running back turned, looked at the tackler. They smiled. They exchanged text messages, and then he blew him up. It was just the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. That play alone extended the drive. Matter of fact, I think the Packers scored 2 plays after that, tying the game up. So yes, it was very, very stupid. Alpha Rob says, but Elam is their starting quarterback. What do you expect? I expect them not to give up 35 points per game. I expect them to be somewhat of a competent defense. I don't know what to expect. Mellow Mike says, Buck, we need a poll. Which of Buck's fandoms is more delusional? His blind belief in the Kansas City Chiefs or his faith that the Cowgirls will, after 30 years, make it back to the promised land? We can do that tomorrow. We can do that right there at on said platform. If you're watching us on the blue or the red one, we will make that poll and we will get the poll for you. But one of those fan bases that I am, quote, delusional about are the Kansas City Chiefs. Guys, the question for the Kansas City Chiefs are very, very simple. Are the Kansas City Chiefs back as Super Bowl favorites? Not just AFC West, not just AFC contenders, but Super Bowl contenders. Guys, are the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl favorites after their beatdown of the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday? Guys, after the 0-2 start, everybody was ready to bury the Kansas City Chiefs. They were done, dead in the water. They lost 27-21 to the LA Chargers in Brazil. Then they turned around and lost 20-17 to the Philadelphia Eagles. People were saying, matter of fact, right here on the show, the dynasty is dead. The Chiefs no more. The money has dried up, yada, yada, yada. But then came the light at the end of the tunnel. Then started the turnaround. First, they knocked off the New York Football Giants, 22-9. It was not flashy, but they did put together a nice, strong third quarter and finally looked like a team that is finding its footing. And then last Sunday, their best game of the season, they smacked around the Baltimore Ravens 37-20. It just wasn't a win. That was a statement win. The truth is, guys, the Kansas City Chiefs are a lot better than their record shows. Now, let's just be real. When Xavier Worthy went down the third play of the season, if healthy, I truly believe that the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Philadelphia Eagles in week 2. If healthy, played the full game, I truly think they beat the LA Chargers in week 1. Guys, I am telling you right now, the Kansas City Chiefs will win those games if Xavier Worthy is in that game and they play those again. his speed and his explosiveness to the offense, and suddenly those early struggles look very, very different. And here's the kicker about the whole thing. Rashee Rice is coming back in 2 weeks. And when he returns, Patrick Mahomes gets another reliable weapon. Matter of fact, he gets his number one receiver back. And with this offense going from, quote, finding his identity to pick your poison, guys, how does this not make the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl favorites? Now, let's not kid ourselves. An 0-2 Chiefs team was not good for the NFL. The league is better when the Kansas City Chiefs are in the spotlight. Better when Patrick Mahomes is in the mix, and better when Arrowhead is buzzing. Matter of fact, when the Kansas City Chiefs started 0-2, which I predicted they would start 0-2. Matter of fact, I still think that they'll start the season 2-4 with losses to the Lions coming up. I thought they were going to lose to the Ravens and then beat the Jaguars, so they might be 3-3 going into their bye week, right? But the 0-2 Kansas City Chiefs, guys, made them a hell of a lot more dangerous. When the Kansas City Chiefs are underdogs, like my man Will said earlier, they're a hell of a lot more dangerous. And now that they're 2-2, the team that everybody left for dead is suddenly in everybody's mouth yet again. From washed up to Super Bowl favorites in a span of just 2 weeks. That's the Kansas City Chiefs. That's Patrick Mahomes. That is Andy Reid. So, guys, the question is very, very simple. Are the Kansas City Chiefs back? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. The Kansas City Chiefs are back. They're healthier, they're training up, and they're once again Super Bowl favorites. The slow start, not quite over yet. They'll get over that hump, but you NFL fans tried to bury them. But the dynasty is not done yet. It's just waking up, baby, because we going to the moon. But what do you guys think? Are the Chiefs truly back as Super Bowl favorites, or are we overreacting to just a couple wins? Guys, comment down below. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your opinions and your hottest of the hottest takes. Now remember, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and we're live Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. East Coast time right here on said platform. Now this is a live interactive show, so let's jump into the chat and let your voice be heard. Laura Johnson Hedrick's in the chat. She says, good evening, boys.
Pigskin pun. Get you some.
Guys, Laura is a pigskin pun, and she got her free entry into the weekly NFL pick'ems, and she did not win. But you know what? She got a free entry. She got her picks in. What's up, Laura? What's up? What's up? What's up? Alpha Rob says, no. They'll be back soon, scoring 23 on Sunday, so slow it down, baby. Well, joke's on you, Alpha Rob. They play Monday versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. And we're going to be talking about the Jaguars, guys. This Monday night matchup between the Chiefs and Jaguars got a hell of a lot more interesting, so we're going to be talking about that. But even with the Kansas City Chiefs scoring just 23, 24 points a game, like Alpha Rob, they're still going to win a lot of football games. This is arguably the best defense in the NFL. This is arguably one of the best defenses that the Kansas City Chiefs have had in their dynasty run. The Kansas City Chiefs are back. Stop sleeping on them. And you as a Buffalo Bills fan, Alpha Rob, you best be worried. You best be worried because when Rashee Rice comes back and the Kansas City Chiefs go into Orchard Park, they're going to lose that game. Yes, the Kansas City Chiefs will lose to the Buffalo Bills, but the Buffalo Bills are going to come out bloody, battered, and bruised and be like, we don't want to face these guys in the playoffs. That's what it comes down to because you don't want them in the playoffs. Not at all, not at all, not at all. Laura said the Chiefs are on a break this year. Someone else's turn. Laura? Since you become a Kansas City Chiefs fan this season, we don't get breaks, baby. We are going back to back, back to back. As Drake says. Drake wrote that song for the Kansas City Chiefs. They wrote that song for the Kansas City Chiefs. But listen, we had their break last year. The Eagles got their reign. The Eagles are top dogs right now. Everybody's chasing the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think, truthfully, anybody from the AFC that has a chance of beating the Philadelphia Eagles this season in the Super Bowl would be the one and only Kansas City Chiefs. The Ravens will shit the bed if they make it. Who else are top dogs? The Chargers? No, they're not going to have a chance. The Buffalo Bills could maybe go toe-to-toe with them, but getting over that hump, getting to the big game, and then winning it the first time is going to be tough for Josh Allen. Let's just back-to-back, or the Kansas City Chiefs knock them off. Pick your poison there. Alpha Rob says the lack of the running game will be their downfall at the end, and this is absolutely correct. The running backs of Kansas City right now are straight up making me very, very upset. They cannot catch the ball. They cannot run the ball. And I don't know if it's scheme. I don't know if it's offensive line blocking or if it's just pure like, we don't want to run the ball. But there will be a blockbuster trade that comes. There will be a blockbuster trade that comes to the Kansas City Chiefs. Whether it is somebody like Alvin Kamara coming to town, whether somebody like Breece Hall coming to town, there is going to be a back coming to Kansas City probably in the next few weeks. Before the bye week for the Kansas City Chiefs, I expect them to have a new running back in town. Whether that's cut Kareem Hunt, trade Isaiah Pacheco, something's got to give because right now the rushing attack is very, very bad. You are correct. Mellow Mike says, see how I set up the segue? That's entertainment in its finest. Chiefs fans, are you not entertained? The kingdom wasn't on life support. It died last year. Whew. So Mellow Mike says that 40 to something score in the Super Bowl. What was it? 6, 12? I don't even know what it was. After the Eagles scored 4, I was like, I was too drunk to taste the chicken. Let's just be honest. But he said it died last season. I guess to be determined. We will see how that Christmas, how that December time frame plays. From Thanksgiving on, we'll see how the Kansas City Chiefs do because they have somewhat of a very favorable end of the season. Cowboys, Texans, Chargers, Titans, Broncos, Raiders. All very, very winnable games. Will they win all of them? I hope not because I want to see them battle-tested going into the playoffs. But we'll see. We'll see. Alpha Rob says, I want the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs. I want the Kansas City Chiefs. And then Miller Mike says, I want KFC in the playoffs. Listen, guys, be careful what you wish for. The Buffalo Bills, who is your kryptonite in the playoffs? It is the Kansas City Chiefs. Alpha Rob, you best hope that the Baltimore Ravens or the Cincinnati Bengals make the playoffs and play the Kansas City Chiefs in the first round so you don't have to play them. Because it is like that triple threat triangle that we talked about last season. Last season, as a Kansas City Chiefs fan, I did not want to play the Baltimore Ravens. I would much rather play the Buffalo Bills. Just like how the Buffalo Bills wanted the Ravens to play the Kansas City Chiefs so they could be, it was just that, because the Chiefs could beat the Bills could beat the Ravens, and the Ravens could beat the Chiefs, right? Like, pick your poison. Like, who do you want? But I'm telling you, Texans are not going to make the playoffs for one. Pause on that. Texans are going to be 7-win tops. And the Buffalo Bills do not want to see the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs. You just don't. Laura says, seeing the Chiefs play in real time make you appreciate the team and the sport. Listen, mine and my wife's goal is to go to every NFL stadium. It doesn't matter if our teams are said playing at said stadium. Just going to games in general is fun. It does truly make you enjoy the sport. Watching everything come together without the TV production, right? Just like so, like you can watch that outside linebacker setting the edge, right? If he doesn't set the edge, somebody goes rushing around the outside for 80 yards, right? He doesn't get all the glory. He doesn't get the tackle, but he is there setting the edge, letting his linebacker do his work, letting this jackbacker come do his work, right? It just watching the game in person is so much fun. It's expensive as hell, but it is so much fun. You're exactly right. Mellow Mike says, Kansas City Chiefs need a running back? Yes, they need a running back. If Joe Mixon ever returns from a mysterious injury, we will trade you guys Nick Chubb. I will take Nick Chubb for a 7th-round pick. Now, James Franklin's going to freak out because he hates the Kansas City Chiefs and he loves him some Nicholas something Chubb. I forget his middle name. Was Edward? Nicholas Edward Chubb. Man, that would be a torn man. But legit. Texans fans, did you really think Nick Chubb was going to like carry you to the promised land? Now, I don't know what's wrong with Joe Mixon. Was it turf toe or something? I don't even. But yeah, it's just weird. Mellow Mike says, now the Chiefs trade for the disgruntled A.J. Brown. We got trouble then. So yes, as you guys know, A.J. Brown secretly wants out of Philadelphia. If you read into stuff like I do, read between the lines, go to his Twitter and look at his cryptid text. Basically what it says, I'm going to paraphrase it because I don't remember it word for word, but he said, if you don't want me here, I will slowly see myself out. Basically saying, hey, if the Eagles aren't going to throw me the ball, if they're not going to get me in the end zone, if we're not going to win, just let me go. And let's just be honest. The Kansas City Chiefs have not had the deepest wide receiver room in many, many years. Now, Thornton, which is a expatriate, is kind of come out of the work and started doing some work, right? Rashid Rice will be back. Xavier Worthy is back. Hollywood Brown is still doing his thing. But if we had A.J. Brown, y'all better watch out. Mellow Mike says, stay away from every bank in Jacksonville. Them nosebleeds come with complimentary herpes. The only person that has to worry about banks is in jail, and that is the KC Wolf. I forget his name, right? Robbing the banks and, doing his thing right there. But guys, it is time for a little thing we like to call buy or sell. So I forgot to put the overlay up. Where's it at? There it is. Main shot. All right, guys, let's get into a little thing. Buy or sell. All right, guys, so it is time for some buy or sell. And here's how it works. We're going to throw out a bold take or question. It is up to us to decide if we're buying it or if we're selling it. Buy means you're in. You like the idea, you believe in it, it makes sense. Selling it means you're out. You don't like it, you're not convinced, and we're shutting it down. So guys, let's get into it. A little thing I like to call buy or sell. All right, guys, so let's dive into today's buy or sell. And the question on the table is very, very simple. Guys, buy or sell, will the Green Bay Packers miss the playoffs? What, playoff? What, miss the playoffs, Buck? Do you guys realize just, less than a week ago, 2 weeks ago, Super Bowl bound, baby, best team in the NFC, and now all of a sudden, back-to-back losses, air quotes there, a tie to the Dallas Cowboys and get a beat down by the Cleveland Browns? Guys, right now, the Green Bay Packers are sitting at 2-1-1 heading into their bye week. Now, on paper, it doesn't look that bad at all, right? But if you look beyond the stats, look beyond the numbers, look beyond the film, there are cracks in the Green Bay Packers. And those cracks are big enough to derail their playoff hopes right now if they do not fix them fast. First things first, guys, is the offensive line. The offensive line is a big, glaring issue. Aaron Banks has been sidelined with the growing problems. Zach Tom is battling the oblique. Without those two anchors on the left and right side of the line, Jordan Love has been under more pressure than he should, and the running game has been very, very inconsistent. You cannot make a playoff push if your quarterback is consistently being hurried and your rushing attack can't stay on schedule and getting sacks. Then there's a special teams issue. Rich Group has they've had another blocked kick this season, giving away points in close games. Matter of fact, the blocked PAT was that 3-point swing that the Dallas Cowboys needed to really get into the game. It would have been 14-0. Turned out it was 13-2 at that point, and that really fueled the Dallas Cowboys. And in a crowded NFC where every win and every point matters, that kind of mistakes is a difference between January football and sitting at home. Now, defensively, things are not much better. For years, for the last few weeks, we've been talking about how great the Green Bay Packers defense is. The Green Bay Packers' identity has been about defense and making timely stops. But so far this season, they're struggling to generate pass pressure, and even when they do, it really hasn't rattled the opposing quarterbacks. Look no further than their tie with the Dallas Cowboys, right? Dak Prescott was only pressured 5 times in the first 3 quarters. And when then when the Packers finally started getting to him late, it didn't even matter. He carved them up, completing 10 of 13 passes for 121 yards and 6 first downs while under pressure. That's not a very disruptive defense, right? Mr. Micah Parsons is supposed to make the Super Bowl bound. That's a defense that's getting pushed around and bullied by a backup offensive line. But the most concerning part of all the ability is to close out games. Green Bay Packers have blown fourth quarter leads in back-to-back weeks. Against the Browns, they gave up a double-digit lead with just 4 minutes left to play. Against the Cowboys, they had a chance to seal the win, but they couldn't. It ended in a tie. That's the first time the Packers have blown consecutive fourth quarter leads since 2010. And it's not the kind of history that you want to repeating if you're aiming for the playoffs. Now, if you zoom out a little bit, right? Zoom out to the bigger picture of the NFC picture. It only gets tougher. The Eagles are undefeated. The Lions are rolling at the top of their division. The 49ers are still one of the most league's dangerous team, injuries or not. The Rams are reloaded, and they are looking sharp. Their margin for error is razor thin, and the Packers are already leaking in multiple areas. So, guys, buy or sell. Will the Packers miss the playoffs? Guys, I am buying this. Yes, the Packers will miss the postseason. Yes, the Packers' Super Bowl run is already over before it even started. Between the injuries, the special teams miscues, and the lack of pressure and the inability to finish games, this doesn't look like a team built for a playoff run. Unless they come out of a bye healthier, sharper in every phase of the aspect, they're going to fall short. But here's the kicker. They can prove me wrong. If Banks and Toms get healthy, if their special teams gets fixed to protection, if their defense starts forcing turnovers, if this team learns how to finish games late, they can absolutely fight their way back into the mix. But right now, they won't. So, guys, let me throw it to you. Are the Packers good enough to turn things around and sneak into the playoffs, or are they destined for another disappointment? Comment down below. I want to hear from you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, guys. Hit the like button. Remember, we're live Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. East Coast time. So Laura's saying, yeah, buy or sell time, baby. Let's go. Will Olsen is saying buy. Will has been pretty adamant that we were on the Green Bay Packers hype train way too early. And Will, you are right. After that Detroit Lions win, week number 1, Micah Parsons came in and did his thing, right? The 6 plays that he played. Oh, the Packers are here. The Packers are here. Will's like, slow it down, baby. Y'all need to slow it down, baby. But he is buying that the Green Bay Packers will not make the playoffs. And Will, I am with you. Alpha Rob says, Buck, you need to slow it down. Stop overreacting to these silly-ass wins because it's sell. They do make the playoffs as a wild card team, though. Honestly, Alpha Rob, there will probably be at least 5 or 6 teams with 9 wins in the NFC this season. It is going to be very, very crowded in the NFC this season, as they could absolutely make a wild card game. This tie hurts them tremendously. It's terrible, and that's exactly what Laura says. She says buy. She says the Packers will not make the playoffs. Doesn't the tie hurt that chance? The tie does not help the chance at all. So basically, in a roundabout way, Laura, the tie more or less counts as a loss because you do not get that win, right? So when we are looking at the playoff picture, when we say 9 wins from the Vikings, when we see 9 wins from the, let's say the Rams, 9 wins from the Cardinals and the 49ers, and 9 wins from this team, but then we see the Packers at 8-8 and 1, they are a half a game behind all of those teams. So technically they're 8-9. So yes, it is only a half a game, but it's still not a game in the win column, and that's going to hurt them in the long run. You were absolutely correct. Miller Mike is saying sell. They got caught playing down to competition, way down, in case of them boys. So, Miller Mike, I would agree with you if it was just the Dallas Cowboys, right? But they put up 40 points. Both teams put up 40 points. It was an absolute shootout. I think they overlooked the Cleveland Browns. I think they overlooked the Browns looking for that Sunday night matchup versus Micah Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys, like all that hype that it was building, right? I think they overlooked the Cleveland Browns, but maybe the defense just isn't as good as we thought it was. Maybe this defense just isn't very good. Because when you look at it, the Browns' offense is not very good. Joe Flacco is not very good. Let's just be honest. Maybe 20 years ago, but right now he's not very good. And what was the final score? 13-10, right? And then you play the Commanders. Yes, you only held the Commanders to 27 points, but that's not winning football. Or sorry, 18 points. The Commanders was out Jaden Daniels the whole second half, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see after the bye week how they do against the Bengals. We'll see after the bye week how they do against the Pittsburgh Steelers and then the Eagles. They will be battle tested, but we will see. We'll see. Will Olson says they have been missing their receivers, Reed and Watson. Yes. Watson is still rehabbing from his ACL tear, which they just paid the man. I don't know why they paid him when coming off an ACL tear. You don't even know if he's going to be back or not. And then Reed as well. I don't know what is wrong with Jaden Reed, but yeah, he is on IR, so he's at least out until week 8, right? Week 7. So however, they still got a pretty good receiving core. They still got Matthew Golden, which stopped doing the spin moves, right? They got Romeo Dobbs, still pretty damn good. Wicks is still pretty damn good. They still have a pretty deep receiving core, even without Watson and Reed. Adding Watson and Reed back later in the season does not help their defense, though. Defense is terrible right now. Titans cornerback L'Jarius Sneed said he didn't know who Nico Collins was. That's because he ran so far past Sneed he couldn't read the back of his jersey on Sunday. L'Jarius Sneed just needs to go back to Kansas City. That's what it comes down to. He needs to simply go back to Kansas City. But guys, let's jump in to the next buy or sell. And today's buy or sell is very, very simple. Guys, buy or sell. Are the Jacksonville Jaguars defense for real? Guys, at first, when you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, like, oh, it's the same old Jaguars, right? It's the same old Jaguars. We don't expect much out of them. But after what we saw this week versus San Francisco 49ers, guys, I'm getting more and more confident that the Jacksonville Jaguars defense is the real deal. Let me walk you through the ups and the risk of why I believe this unit is turning into legitimate strength for the Jacksonville Jaguars. First, you have to respect what they've done so far. It's unrealistic to expect 3 or 4 more turnovers every game. But that's exactly what the Jaguars have done. Forced multiple turnovers in 4 straight games. That's just not luck, guys. That is consistency. Through the first 4 weeks, Jacksonville's defense has racked up 13 takeaways. That's the most in franchise history for the first 4-game stretch ever. Their ability to make impact plays at crucial moments have been major difference makers. And their win over the San Francisco 49ers, for instance, right? They recovered a fumble late in the game after a sack by Eric Armstead, basically sealing the game. They also had an interception by Antonio Johnson off a tip pass to help close the game earlier in weeks earlier. That kind of clutch performance suggests this defense isn't just getting lucky, they are being coached it, right? That 26-21 win over the San Francisco 49ers was a statement. 4 takeaways, a punt return touchdown, and a defense that bent but did not break. Jacksonville didn't have to be perfect on offense. The defense and special teams have carried the weight, much of the weight. San Francisco outgained them, but turnovers and optimistic defense were the difference in that game. That sort of performance against a strong opponent speaks volumes, like the San Francisco 49ers. Also for context, guys, the Jaguars have already been leading the league in takeaways before week 4. ESPN noted that they were tied for the highest number of turnovers in 3 weeks in just three games, surpassing all of their total from 2024 in record time. But it's not all smooth sailing. Injuries are starting to pile up. Yes, that big old I word. And that could test how deep this defense really is. Travion Walker left the 49ers game with the wrist injury, did not return. The good news is ESPN reports his injury is not considered season injury. That said, the Jaguars will have to manage his absence of term while he recovers. Eric Murray also exited the game with a neck injury. He is a key contributor in the secondary, and losing him would hurt more than just one player. The biggest test will be whether the Jaguars' depth can hold up. If Walker is out for several games, opposing defenses might shift focus into and neutralizing Josh Hines Allen, forcing Leicester defense to step up. So yes, there is risk, but none of these injuries as of now appear to be season injury. So guys, I am buying that the Jacksonville Jaguars defense is the real deal. They are putting it all together. Consistent takeaways, clutch performance, and a statement win over a top-tier opponent and foundational pieces intact for now. Yes, injuries are a threat, but the Jaguars defense has already done more than enough to earn this belief. The unit looks built to be a difference maker and not just as a surprise. So guys, I am buying the Jacksonville Jaguars defense. I think the defense is the real deal. But what do you guys think? Is the Jacksonville defense a force, or are they overperforming on bound to regress? Let me know in the comments down below, guys. Remember, we're live Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. East Coast time. So let's get into your comments. Mellow Mike says the Jags and Colts are why the Texans ain't being counted out. Choke artists. Got to love them. Mellow Mike, Jaguars will have a true eye test on Monday Night Football. When they play the Kansas City Chiefs, first of all, why did they put the Kansas City Chiefs and Jaguars on Monday Night Football? I really don't know. Let's just be honest. But it is a Monday Night Football game in Jacksonville. Right now, the Kansas City Chiefs offense is rolling. The defense has definitely carried the Jaguars the first 4 weeks of the season. Travis Etienne is looking like a pretty damn good back again, right? I don't anticipate the Jaguars choking away because they're not relying on Trevor Lawrence to be that man. Trevor Lawrence is simply managing the game, and the defense is winning the ball games. They will be tested in the upcoming weeks when they play the Chiefs. They got the Rams. Then they play your Texans, right? It'll be a very, very tested team going into the playoffs if they get there. Will Olsen says, I'm definitely buying this. Definitely buying this. When a team has multiple turnovers, averaging 3.5 per game, they are the real deal. They are the real deal. Now, Will, me, rest of Man Hour Nation, we do need to slow it down a little bit, right? Because on those turnovers, they did play the Carolina Panthers. Obviously, the Panthers are not very good. They did play the Cincinnati Bengals. Yes, Joe Burrow did play till the third quarter in that game, maybe in the fourth quarter. But Jake Browning come in and throw three interceptions in the fourth quarter alone. So we can't really give him that. And then they play the terrible Texans team. Yes, they took the ball away, but you got to capitalize on those takeaways as well. They did prove themselves against the San Francisco 49ers. Let's not get it twisted. Brock Purdy was back. Christian McCaffrey did play. But it's still, let's pump the brakes a little bit right on everybody, but I'm buying this as lock as well. And Laura says, I'm 100% buying this as well. She says, I am 100% buying this as well.
Skin pun. Get you some.
Guys, we are all going to get a very, very good look of the Jacksonville Jaguars in 7 days. This time tomorrow, or this time next week, will not be live. I'll be watching the Kansas City Chiefs game. But we will see. We'll see. Next up, guys, on the old buy or sell, we got to talk about the Indianapolis Colts. Guys, let's get into today's buy or sell. And buy or sell, guys, is the Colts defense broken? That's right. Is their defense broken? Guys, right off the bat, I'm leaning into the buy on this one. Yes, buy. They are serious trouble here if you're the Indianapolis Colts. Guys, let me walk you through what this game revealed versus the LA Rams. What injuries are doing and why this unit might be more fragile than people think. Guys, last Sunday, the Colts allowed 462 yards. 462 yards. That is the most they have surrendered since week 5 of last season. Now, that came in spite of one of their better pass rush efforts. They were able to generate pressure, knock Stafford off of rhythm at times, but the pressure alone doesn't win games. And if their secondary paid dearly for it. Guys, Matthew Stafford threw for 375 yards and 3 touchdowns, hitting wide receiver Puka Nacua repeatedly. Puka was able to slice through the Colts, averaging 11 Colts coverage. He got 13 catches for 170 yards. That tells me the front is doing their work, but the back end is struggling under fire. The personnel in the secondary is becoming a real concern if you are a Colts fan. Cornerbacks Kenny Moore II and Jalen Johnson are both injured. Moore is dealing with an Achilles injury now, and Jones is now on IR. The Colts even signed veteran quarterback Mike Hilton in recent days to try to fill some gaps. But veterans can only do so much when the depth is thin, and communication and chemistry in the secondary is still in flux. One big mismatch Monday, Xavier Howard reportedly beat by Puka in some break-in routes. This veteran quarter getting outsmarted in coverage, something you did not expect to see. If more absence lingers, the Colts will have to reshuffle their starting lineup yet again. Maybe lean more to slot corners to back up DBs who really haven't been tested yet. The uncertainty is growing in Indianapolis, but let's zoom out. In 2025, guys, Fox Sports ranks the Colts defense 7th in yards allowed overall. Fox Sports, that sounds decent until you see the inconsistencies. Against elite offenses, this defense looked very, very brittle. They can't reliably stop the pass, and when the run game breaks through, they are exposed even more. The issue is back in amplified every mistake up front, and then another red flag. The drop-off in deep coverage. Last season, the Colts were beat on big plays more than likely already. This year it's happening yet again. Because I am 100% buying this. I am buying that the Colts defense is broken, or at least operating above its means right now. Yes, there have been flashes of the good plays, rush pressure, sacks, a little bit of this. And yes, injuries are a factor, but when your secondary can be carved up and your defense gives up 462 yards in a critical game, there is no denying structural issues. Until those are addressed, this defense is going to cost Indianapolis big games. So, Colts fans, can the corners return to healthy fast? Can they get healthy? Or are they going to have to rely on veterans? But guys, what are your thoughts? Is this Colts defense can be fixed, or is the liability just what's the word I'm looking for? Trash.